At LA Cold Storage, one never really gets used to the cold. Good company though, extremely safety oriented, and they did provide the freezer suits, gloves, and thermal glove liners. The six-story 4th Street warehouse is on the corner of 4th and Central in downtown Los Angeles. We parked every day in a lot on 4th Street, and were told that at night we should go out to our cars not alone, but in groups. Every so often, we would get to chip away at the icy pipes so the valves could be turned. Ever had a pneumonia headache? Before I got my own floor, I would run the elevator and bring product to the various levels just as fast as it could be put away. Here I am feeding Reuben this pallet of lobster, which is worth plenty of money, by the way. This is Preston and me on a 6th-floor landing. He talked about fishing and card games. These are things he liked doing, and I hope he's enjoying his retirement. Off in a forgotten corner of one of the rooms, one could find surrealistic visions like stalagmites in a cave. I seem to be the only one that thought of these as art. After Preston retired, I inherited the 6th floor. This is on the landing after pulling a mixed order of frozen shrimp. The two kinds of motors were the walk-along and the rider. Can you guess which one this is? Snow hell. The 6th floor doorway to an adjacent room. Driving the motor over this surface was a laborious task. It was known to cause even the most experienced teamsters to say, "F this shit." Occasionally, water would leak in from the roof and form chocolate ice. The first time I saw this in the dark, I didn't know what I was looking at, but it seemed otherworldly. I went up for a closer look, slid on the ice, fell on my chest, and broke my glasses. We fell quite often, but with layers of thermals, steel-toe freezer boots, and padded freezer suits, we bounced back up and rarely got hurt. This view of downtown, from the roof of LA Cold, was just up from the 6th floor landing. Having access to the roof was a bonus. It beat working on other levels, especially the basement, which was known as the hole. Once we stood here and took turns watching a solar eclipse through welder's goggles. One Christmas, Karen baked cookies with the names of the freezer crew on them. When these treats hit the break room, some of the crew took cookies with others' names and bit off the heads, arms, and legs. For the first 60 days at LA Cold, employees were on probation. Karen would bake probation pie for the men. After I made probation, we carried on the tradition with brownies and stuff. The owner of LA Cold got wind of my photographic skills. Word gets around, I guess. He commissioned me to take pictures of the safety picnic. The results were published in the company newsletter, The Cool News. Seated at the safety picnic table are a few checkers, freezer men, and engineers. This is Karen in the center with Rod, a veteran freezer worker and denizen of the 3rd floor at the 4th Street warehouse, and his wife. The company put on a safety picnic celebrating a record number of days without a serious injury. This freezer man known as Captain Jack was an interesting character. He collected X-rated videos which he purchased from a transient woman nicknamed the Hot Dog Lady. He had filled up the trailer he lived in, that he called his submarine, with these videos. Since Jack had no VCR, he would loan us the video to watch, then expect a full detailed synopsis and review of the contents the next morning. Here I am, driving the high-reach Hyster forklift in 30 below zero temperature. For the 2 years I worked here, I was known as Repo Man. My real name was never used. Early on, somebody pinned me with that nickname because we had been discussing pro wrestling and I mentioned the name of the Repo Man. It stuck. Just after starting work there, The others asked if Reggie had indoctrinated me. This meant, had he started yelling at me yet? He wasn't all that bad, though. Yelling back and forth helps to get your mind off the cold. Here is Reggie showing me that the gloves are off. Roy, who is partially hidden, and Tim drove the orange Raymond forklifts. For forklift certification, I learned the way to stop one of these machines is by reversing the motor, not by braking. It's called plugging and saves the brakes for emergencies. Once in a while, the freezer man would be given free samples of the frozen products, and I would take home hush puppies, potatoes, fish, and seafood. I don't like seafood, but Karen was happy to get crab legs and such. My face would stay red, as it is here, until 9 o'clock at night, usually from being in the freezer. Working in the cold kept me well preserved, or at least I like to think it did.